What's up, Inner Circle? Hopefully, everybody's doing good and that you had a nice trading day. To be honest, for me, it wasn't that good. I mean, I forecasted this whole strong move up. I was planning it already on the weekends that we will see something like that. In the first place, my idea was based off I didn't see how Frankfurt has opened. My idea was okay, price will probably go lower, so I was more on a short first and then to take along on a 4 hour demand zone. But yeah, things got changed, and that's also I think what we need to talk about in this video, where I'm going to go more over details over here. We're also going to speak a little bit of liquidity because that has a lot to do with one entry possibility for today. And yeah, as I said, for me it wasn't such a good day because I only made around 10 hour profit. The trade that I took was a 1 to 12, but yeah, a little bit of commission that I need to pay and so on, and two trades have been on break even. I'm going to also explain you how I managed to get in break even and why I even did that, because as you all know, I'm not doing that too often, but sometimes I do, and in this case it was very good that I did that, and I will explain you also here in this video how to manage this kind of thing. So yeah, EU went crazy to the upside. So looks like a lot of things has changed now fundamentally for the Euro USD. We may see right now the price finally going up higher. Still, what I need to tell you is on Wednesday we have some important news. Okay, so stay here on Wednesday. Or was it on Wednesday? Yes, on Wednesday, the FOMC meeting. So basically, the majority right now will wait for that one particular day for that one event to occur and then to make their decision. Now, for me, if I just reprice how it is right now, I can tell you almost 100% it will go more to the upside, right? So it just makes so much sense right now from the higher time frames. It looks like everything just set up for the explosion. And as I said, I'm super interested in getting in a big swing trade. Now I know that I can't get in that swing trade yet because price now still has a lot of opportunities to change anything and so on. But if the daily will close the way on how it looks right now in 3 hours and 45 minutes, I'm super bullish on it, and I will look already tomorrow to get involved in a trade to get here in a bullish movement. Anyway, today only a small trade is what I took on a long. We'll show you that one also, but that was not, I should say, was a little bit risky on one, but still, if I would have been holding it for a longer time period, then also there I would have been made massive wins. Yeah, so I would say let's just get it started. Let's just use the repo play so we can go back and we can just start, with the clean day. So more than likely, the whole idea, that's how I planned it already for me in the weekend, was like that. We had this demand area where price did not came into it yet. Okay, so I just was looking, okay, for our interesting POI. It's bullish right now, the 4 hour bullish, but what we knew was that one aspect, that price still was here bearish, and this bearish bias came from the higher time frame, came specifically from the daily and from the weekly. So if you came here to the weekly, you will see the important thing that we are reacting from this demand. Okay, so this is why I'm that bullish on EU, because the swing structure itself on EU is this. So what I expect right now is a strong move up. So it doesn't need to be right now too crazy, everything can change. That's not a problem. I would just say that based on what we can see here, and if price will now really manage to go below that one, then from a fundamental perspective, a lot of things need to change. And as long that this will not happen, I will not consider right now that, okay, price will easily go below that. Of course not. What I want to see this week is also, I'm just going to share with you right now, everything that is important is I want to see a close above this kind of thing here, because it's currently still bearish. The fact that we just are here, you know, still below that one, so that we broke it here early on, says to us, yeah, the weekly is still bearish. Now let's come up to the daily. The daily, that's also the daily structure at the end. Also, we need to break above it, you know. So that's what I'm waiting right now today to come, so that I can really say 100% what price will do. But now, that one particular day, I mean today, I was not sure what will price do, right? So price was just bullish here. That was a very important aspect to understand, that is bullish. And important was to understand, yes, we already are in a demand area. This is a valid demand zone, okay? It's right now not the best, but on the daily, you don't need right now more factors to look at. This one is perfectly. Price broke structure. We're right now on the substructure. We are bullish, and that's important for us. On the swing structure, of course, we are bearish. But if we want to expect the price will break the swing structure, we need to first follow the substructure until the substructure will fail or the substructure will succeed. And if it will succeed, then also the swing structure will reverse, so it will become in this kind of context right now back bullish, and then you're in a liquidity pool, and then you will see then switching back bearish to go for a pullback, and then you can go again with the bullish leg to the upside. And everything, all these kind of changes, as you can see, are always at relevant POIs. In this case, monthly, weekly demand zone. And this is the only point where you can expect more than likely price to totally reverse and to go crazy. It's like here, price was bearish here, right? With this whole move down. Then starting to create here something kind of a bullish nature. Still, it didn't close something above or something, but here the first time price closed bullish, so every reseller was bullish on EU. But the thing, what many people ignore is, yeah, it already tapped into supply zone. Now this supply zone could bring price all the way back down, and that's what it did over there. Okay, it's important to always understand this kind of play, when price potentially will shift structure and when it doesn't have the chance to shift structure. Okay, so for instance, right now, if you're just in some sort of this, you know, it's hard to expect somewhere there price to shift now, right? In this case, I mean, yes, here for instance, that could be a supply zone. You know, we will need to look then on the 4 hours and so on to understand if it's a good one. But that one here, for instance, looks good. But what I wanted to say is, more than likely, if you see price like that, you know, it needs to give you a pullback, and where you can expect price to reverse is more than likely, I mean, to follow with the continuation, is at an relevant supply zone, which was particularly right up there. Okay, cool. So let's go back to today to understand what we can do. So we're just waiting for price to come right now till, okay, I think I made something wrong. Want to come just to the Asia session, to the Frankfurt session. Perfectly. So there we are. So as you can see, 4 hours in this context started to move up. What was for us important is, that was cool that many of you understood that one opportunity, and I had my eyes on it, exactly like you all. Yes, bearish. Completely fine. Bearish with a supply zone. Cool. Super nice idea. We can look here to go for a short. But what we want to see is, of course, M15 to be also bearish, right? We cannot go bearish if M15 is not bearish. Yes, we are at the top of a 4-hour supply zone, so that's a good POI. Still, we want to see M15 getting a switch. So right now, to understand this whole kind of context better, is do not look at it like that. Because if you look at it like that, then you will say 100% price will need to move down. You need to understand it from a different point of view also sometimes. You need to understand, okay, but what if this is the whole demand? And that is totally right, because this is a demand range. Price doesn't need to come that much into the refined demand zone on the 4-hour. It's enough if it will just tap into it here, and it can move up, and that's okay. Also can just do only like that, also possible. But this one is of course more realistic, because you can see a price here formed structure. Still, I would let my demand zone right here and still consider price potentially to come down lower here, of course. But I need to just see here more confirmations, of course, before I'm going to go for that opportunity. So cool, M15. And on M15, I understand, okay, this is my supply zone. Now, what I can say just up front is the M15 supply zone doesn't look good. Okay, why isn't this a good supply zone? Very simply, it's a mitigated one. It's a supply zone where you can see price immediately just created right into it a new supply zone. And you can also see that this bearish candle over here failed in reality to even close here below. That could be also something. I'm not looking at these kind of factors right now too much, to be honest. But the fact that price here is bullish just tells me this is not good. It tells me, yes, this is liquidity, and yes, it could work out, but it just tells me right up front that I should not even look the price like that. I will need to look at least like this, and if then price will give me like an M15 BOS, then I could view this as a chance, okay, and just view this as normal liquidity, which could bring the price back down. Cool. So we're looking at it, and we're now just waiting, for Frankfurt session to get in. What we can see here, and this is the interesting part, is M15 is super bullish. Okay, M15 is super bullish since the moment that it tapped somewhere here in this M15 range. Okay, so in reality, it took this liquidity here and it tapped into this whole range, and it already went up higher. Now in this case, you could even say, you know what, it's this demand zone in reality, which brings the price like that. So I do not care right now how you would interpret this. It's cool because it's right now just so minimalistic. So it's definitely from the liquidity, there was enough liquidity to bring the price up. Now here, important for us is price going up higher, breaking structure and so on, everything cool. We just need to wait right now what the last couple of M15 will do. And we can see it already. This M15, this is right before Frankfurt session started, just went crazy. It went crazy, Now, I know how that could feel. So people like to look at this kind of setup. But here we can see how important sessions and timing is in reality. Because also I was at the charts and I looked at it and I just saw, looks like a nice short opportunity. So just from the feeling here, But I knew M15 is speaking in the first place completely against me. In the second place is my timing is not good. So I need to wait, But from the feeling, I understand people who would say, yeah, this is a clean short, because I had somewhat the same kind of thing, but not because I've seen the M15. It was only because of the 4-hour supply zone and because of the 4-hour demand zone. So it's so important to understand also the lower and the mid time frames in order for yourself to protect from unnecessary losers. Cool. This one, of course, pure liquidity, that's also mitigated supply zone. So if it will go above it, it was kind of clear the price will go like that. And here you can see liquidity. You can see a nice example on how liquidity works, because previously this kind of thing here was a step-by-step mitigation. So you can see price creating here liquidity in order to tap into the next mitigation, to go lower step by step. Now the moment when everything is mitigated, what price will do is just going crazy through it to hunt all these stop losses which are still located up there, because people still like to have their stop losses up here. Now what will happen here is also, breakout traders immediately want to get long and stuff. Now also SMC traders, everybody tries to get right now here long. Now let me show you and explain you what our view was and why it was totally fine. Now my view was like that. M15 bullish, remained bullish. Now I'm not even looking right now too much to see, okay, did it broke this, for instance, because it didn't broke that. Okay, so if you had that in your mind, that's not that relevant. Relevant for you right now is to see this, okay, to see, okay, is right now my substructure still bullish or not? The other things is, yes, you're right. You want to see a BOS above it to see if it, okay, did we successfully close above it? In this case, it isn't. Why? Because it's a 4-hour, a 4-hour close is needed in order to confirm the bullish continuation in this case. If the M15 would have been closed above it, potentially could have been just a fake out, and price could have been just dropping all the way back down, potentially. Now for us, we just wanted to follow M15 until invalid, and in this case it was just bullish, So what I did is I just understood, yeah, this is my demand area right here, mark it like that, and I go down to the M1 to understand where price could come, so that I'm interested to get involved in some long positions. That's it. So we just wait then, of course, for some confirmations in order to get them long. So we had their bullish M15, and of course we had some nice demand areas on the M1 while we wanted to look for some nice opportunities. Now, interesting to see here is that we have this kind of price action, we had this. And here on the first view, it's not clear right now, okay, which one will use the market. Will it use right now this? Or will it even use this? And there is between these two to understand right now which one is more relevant. Super simply to find that out. At the moment right now where we are, it's difficult because this one has just better cards, because of the matter of fact price is lower, so that could be like the last POI possible. This one is good because it has, in this case here, also liquidity right above it, and this demands on here could be used to generate some liquidity, and then it will use the lower one. That's why this one is also good. So in this case you get 3 demand zones, and only the first one could be worse, but also the first one could be good at the same time. And yeah, that's why it was not, not 100% clear what should you do. What you need to understand as well is that this demand is not 100% in the other demands on here involved. It's only in the range, but also here you can see the wicks. So that one could be also the real demand zone, So in this case, everything is good, all 3 zones are valid to look for a potential entry. You just confirm it with the 5 seconds and you're cool. And that was the idea, So here, first of all, hopefully nobody tried here something, If you want to go short here, I guess that's pretty difficult. So no real chance to do that. I mean, I looked at it, but for me it wasn't, that one was not clear that I will need to use that. I just looked more into this in the first place, but then I also realized, what, this is still mitigated, but this one is mitigated as well. But this one, was kind of, from my point of view, a little bit risky to go for this one. But yeah, that one was the one to go for. went crazy to the downside, so you could have been easily using that one as well if you are specialized in trades like that. Okay, yeah, then you can see actually price here perfectly gave you a lot of rangings. Right now, what you need to do in a phase like that is, of course, always to follow the M1. In this case, you don't want to see an M1 BOS to the upside. It is not needed, you know, because M1 boss you only need if right now not M15 would not be bullish, but M15 is bullish, so all we need is just the 5 seconds. In this case, you can see this is your M1 demand zone, and I know it looked a little bit choppy and so on. Also for me, I didn't had a good feeling when I was in that trade, just because of the fact that I've knew, okay, it's not in the real M15 demand zone, but still I understood this is a clean BOS right here, and this one just confirms my demand zone. So hopefully I marked it well, yes. And then how I did it, and this is how I always do it, you know, I always go for my 1 pip. So I mark my 1 pip and I just go for it like that. So it was, yeah, as you can see, I got into it. It's always pretty close, but I always want to get at least my 1 pip, and it was good. What I also liked here was this kind of thing here. I've seen that wick, and this is why you could have been also using like that. So I would recommend using it more than likely like that, because if price will go here below, it will go anywhere below, because everything here just looks like pure liquidity, and this is the real demand. And as you can see, that is really the real demand, because they came down to mitigate this small wick there. This is where their position in reality are. Cool, so I got involved into it right after I've seen this BOS. I didn't wait right now for further confirmations, to be honest. This is the real BOS in this case. You can see here this blue candle dropped down, it broke it, you know, and it tapped aggressively into it, and that was for me good enough. Then I also seen nice gap, and I want to get into it. It's cool, it's pretty cool. Then, as I said, I didn't have a good feeling because price was just ranging right now a lot, and it formed these equal lows or triple lows. Then I seen just, okay, price BOS, this was a good sign, came one more time to the downside, and then it started to fly, and I said, okay, cool, I'm in the straight, and I think price will now finally fly. Important is then to understand, because this is how I managed my trades, and this is why it brought me to put my stop loss to break even later on. Still, in the first place, this was like the confirmation for you to scream and to get rid of your longs at that moment here, because you understand that you have a supply zone here. You understand that this supply zone and potentially this one are the only two ones which could speak against you. More than likely, this one here speaks more against you in the first way, because it took even liquidity. It's a strong one. It broke structure. Yes, it failed to go lower than this. That's true, which makes it not that strong. But you also can see here that price managed to give you here a BOS. Okay, so here is also something. So this is how structure and reality came back down. And here, but still, you know, it left us with a valid supply zone. And the moment when we broke here above and here down below, everything changed to a bullish structure. Okay, more than likely, you know, this one, because here is where the previous lag was, and that makes right now everything really back bullish. Substructure already started early on, which was the 5 second BOS to give you the intention, you know what, I think price could go up higher. That's what they did here. So cool. That moment when you then realized, oh no, we broke here back below, that should be for you like, okay, put your stop loss to break even, just to make sure you will not get out of this trade or even close it. Or try, like here, this is the best case, because it leaves you again with a supply zone, to close it just at the supply zone so that you not get rid of your nice profits. And believe me, I wanted to close it, but I didn't. I was just not too fast enough to do it, to be honest. You can see price here failed, went up higher, but still in this, so understand that. So I was just happy at that moment when price was here. Okay, cool. It's nice and profit. I thought about, okay, it could go up higher now finally. So that was kind of my feeling. So I really want to bring you right now through the whole procedures that you can understand how I'm trying to manage my trades. In this case here, in all factors, put it at break even, guys. Put it at break even, because you don't expect price to come back down, because you can see how price already gave you mitigation, came one move up higher, and if price will really move down, it doesn't need to tell you right now that this demand zone will need to hold. Still, this demand zone can get a mitigation for sure, but if it will get that mitigation, it doesn't need right now that price will then fly or something, okay? So here we had then this, and everything still looked kind of good, to be honest. The price could go up higher, and as you can see, it does. And then it created here these equal lows. Price spiked above the equal lows, and these equal lows have been the liquidity for what? Exactly. For the top supply zone. So this is what price came into it. So my take profit, if it would have been good, I would have been putting it exactly up there. That would have been a wonderful trade, because I need to understand, okay, this is probably not the real demand zone which will bring the price up higher. It is here, the demand zone, and one of these two zones are the valid ones. Okay, yeah, and you can already see here how price is immediately not breaking right now, this structure here, but it's already gave you charge. Reaction back up into the supply area, which is this now. It's not a strong one or something, or not even a valid one, I would say, because it didn't really broke structure. Still, it managed to come all the way back down from there. I never like that. This is, never, I would never take this short. This doesn't make any kind of sense. But we need to understand here that London, okay, that was my problem when I forgot. We've been here at London, and London was good for me, and this is why I thought about, I will hold it, I will not close it, because what I like to do is always around London to close it and to see London's reaction. Now London's reaction was this: move up, move down. At this point, I should understand that it could be dangerous for me because of price didn't broke this, but price also here did not broke this. So it was not a clear situation what price will do, and this was like, it's a situation where you have no clues what to do. That's the point. That's why I didn't close or something. I just moved my established to break even. So at least in this situation, and at least at this moment, you need to put your established to break even to avoid unnecessary losses, because your ID is totally invalid at that point. It's really totally invalid at that point. So cool. It drops down lower, gets here in the next supply zone. So you could have been at this point expecting price to go crazy, but you still understand that we did not even mitigate this demand zone. So my long bias was still long. It was still cool. Now what I understood, we still have here the demand zone. This demand zone could still hold. It could really bring price up higher. And that's what it really did in reality. It was a little bit tricky in this kind of thing to get involved into it. Also here, the same kind of thing. I was super aggressive on it because I really wanted to catch that one move. And I just said, that's a valid one here. You can say it like that. You can see here, valid here. So you have multiple options on how to get here involved into a potential trade. But it's right now not cool for me to explain you this too detailed, because at the end it was not right. At the end this wasn't right at this trade. So if you would use now this one, from my point of view, would be okay to use if it would be in this area here, or in, let's say, this one as well. Because if you're not in a good POI and you're trying to get aggressive like that, at the smallest interaction, then that could work against you. So better you use it like that, and you understand that your demand zone is here, and you understand that you have liquidity here if you really want to go long here, like I wanted to go. So that was the way and how I entered. Then continuation, same kind of thing, is just repeating one more time. You can see here that one gap, so it comes exactly to that one gap. This is where position is. Move up, and it looked like a crazy trade, to be honest. So for me it was like, okay, we're going bullish, 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 everything nice. How far did we came even? Was cool, pretty high, but only, as you can see, to the supply zone again, to this. Now in this case, now in this context, how it is right now, this supply zone is a good one. It's a super good one, because you understand it has liquidity here built in. You understand that it created a strong move down. It liquidated basically everything here. But yeah, still failed to go lower here. But what did price do now at this point? Well, it left us with triple lows. Okay, it's even triple lows. And we understand that we have here demand zones. Now you need to understand in the first place, again here, move your stop loss to break even. Okay, move it, because it looks just too aggressive. I mean, you can just see how strong this bearish movement came into it. Broke structure, substructure was back bearish. Price did not respect any demand zones or anything like that. And now we came to the possibilities, and that was the way and how I traded before I understood the 5 seconds. And in this situation, a risk type of entry would be the perfect solution for the situation. I just recognized it also here a little bit too late. I was focused on my 5 seconds, but I forgot about what we have here at this demand zone. We have triple lows. We got this extra liquidity, and this is the demand zone right below them. So you can really just came here, put your buy limit there, and price will use this one for you. It will use it. I mean, it's perfectly how price tapped into it and it moved up higher. What I did, and that was my problem, I didn't understood the interaction that fast. Okay? Because the interaction over here, you needed to understand very quickly that this here is a BOS, and that you are entering in this demand. So this is how on the one that the right interpretation should be. Forex.com, it even gave you, I think, a little bit more details. Yeah. Forex.com. You need to understand that you are in a high liquidity area. You need to understand that, because then you can be more aggressive here. But also here, in reality, the real BOS only kicked in here. And what you wanted to get filled is something here, like this block here. That's what you want to see. Price is tapping here at the moment when it moved up. But you had like 10 seconds or 5 seconds to realize this confirmation. And then to really press the bottom to buy. This is like, was not a fair trade, yes. This is why I also missed that one. But this is how they always act in a situation like that. What you could have done as well is to understand, you know what, I think this is already the BOS, and I would just place my buy limit right here, like here, like that. Okay, that could have been also a possibility. So I know sometimes the markets are just like that. It's not always fair. In this case, your best solution definitely would have been to just get involved with your buy limit orders, with risk type of entries. If you didn't, I didn't too. It's cool. Yeah, sometimes this happens. Okay, but what we should have been understanding, and this is why also I don't know why I didn't understood it at that moment. I was a little bit stupid. But here we had the BOS, and here we had the supply where price started to range. It's like liquidity. You can even see how price closed then above, even gave you further confirmation. Okay, the supply zone will not work. That's what they said here, what they clarified for everybody. And then they said, you know what, come here, jump into this demand zone, and we will just ride this baby all the way back up. That was like what they said in reality. So you could have been here using on the 5 seconds multiple options to get involved in the trade. So multiple options, you know, everything here valid. Just always really wait for everything to set up. So in this case, to understand that this is here still a demand zone and that this is the liquidity for it, you know, because I got asked today, hey, Darius, how should I enter in 5 seconds? Because always the fractals are getting me out. That should never happen. You need to really understand what is liquidity, and this is nothing else different than the other things. And if you're not sure, then you just wait for further confirmation. Like here, you can see here on the 5 seconds, boss, right? Range, then you break it again, boss here, this is the new range. So somewhere here should be your entry. So on the 5 seconds, specifically exactly this. Now, as you can see, look at this, how perfectly price really taps into it before the real move up. And that would have been the real entry for everybody who wants a confirmed entry style in this case, you know, because the lowest point down there, that was one which I would say probably very unrealistic to understand it that quick. Okay, we've seen it today. It's unrealistic, but this one, that was a clean one, to be honest. I just had the whole time my focus to understand this, and I just missed the price already tried to develop that kind of good thing here to understand price will not reverse back down. Okay, so for everybody who was scared about that, because you understand, you need to understand this here. Price on the M1 continued to give you another BOS, and then you had like after that BOS 1, 2, 3 minutes time to understand, yo, you need to buy this kind of thing here, and then it still gave you 2 more minutes before it even started to go all the way back up. Okay, and then they finally pushed price back up. So that was here from my point of view, everything's super clean. Yeah, and started to move on. Now, what price is then offering us, and that was also an interesting thing which I was looking for, was, you know what, it's not a clean BOS, but still this could be a demand area. Still look here for price to give you a reaction. Okay, that will, you know, you can see not clean something, but this kind of thing just looked to me like price was just came here to mitigate something, to fill a little bit of the imbalances. But yeah, also here I would not recommend trying to get your risky here in this trade or something. Cool, price moving, and I guess no opportunities anymore. No, especially not to get involved. Oh yeah, that's what I forgot to tell you. On the M15 there was something interesting. Yeah. So when you come to this, M15 first time closed above it. So you need to understand that M15 will come to fill in this. Okay? So it wants to fill in this. So somewhere here price will definitely start to give you then the bullish continuation. Now you would say, okay, cool, this is my demand zone that I have, price is just breaking below it. No, go to the 5 seconds to understand what the 5 second is telling you, and you understand on the 5 seconds that you have here your lowest POI possible, where you can see that this is a demand zone, and you can see here how price is breaking structure, and it's giving you here a perfect opportunity to get involved after it provides you here with a ton of liquidity. This one, to be honest, I only how should I say, I understood this, and then I didn't monetize price. That was my problem. So I was not at the charts during this development. Otherwise, 100% this one would have been for me a trade which I would take, because it's so clean. It's in the lowest POI possible. Everything is bullish. You are in the M15 demand zone right over here. You can be aggressive, as we always tell. And this is the first time 5 seconds are switching back bullish, giving you here nice liquidity, giving you a nice demand zone. This is where you should look for. And even here, you know, like price is breaking here, continue to break structure, offering you here also opportunities to get in. Now these ones are not good ones where I would say it's cool to get involved in these kind of trades. I would always say this one, that is the real one, the real origin start of the movement. This is where I also want to get involved into my trades. Okay, price then, you know, really went crazy. What I understood is, yeah, we got here a nice supply zone where we can expect then something from price. Still, I want to see M15 being bearish, or, you know, M1 at least. And this was a nice price action, because this just screamed like I'm liquidity here, you know, because it's always like that after such a move up, when you want to see action in reality, a mitigation down here. You should not expect a mitigation down there, because price is super bullish. In fact, what price will do is always in a situation like this, after it moved all the way back up, it will give you pullbacks, but immediately it will come up higher, and probably then it will turn down, if it will even do that. So you only want to see price coming here, like in this case, you can see here there is something. So only expect price to come down there, not more, you know. So don't go for that one crazy correction back down. Yes, it could occur, but it does need to occur immediately. So here, what you can do is to wait for price on the M1 to give you bearish BOS. And when I say bearish BOS, then I want to see bearish BOS and not substructure. Substructure is not relevant for us in a situation where we go counter trend. Okay, this is counter trend what we are looking for right now. We're looking for a short opportunity. We're not looking for something to get long on. So we want to go for a short. So the M1 structure is specifically here. Okay, this one failed, you know, to break something to the upside. So that means automatically this is not the real BOS to turn everything back bearish, but it could, in this case, it perfectly worked out. But I would not recommend you doing this, okay, because in reality this is a 5 second BOS, and this is okay in this case because of you're in a big liquidity pool after price pushed up like 94 pips. Okay, so if you would have been taking here one of these trades, you would say crazy 1 to 50 R. Oops, we go for a 1 pip. So you could have been gone here for a crazy 87 risk reward. I mean, after such a strong move, it's clear price will drop down. So you can use like the 5 seconds to confirm it. But you can see it here already. Price here in this case will fail your ID. But here you understand extra liquidity within a supply zone, so it can definitely work. So from my point of view, if you went here short, it's cool. Would be cool. I would not say you're stupid or something. If you went here short, then I would say you are probably stupid. Okay, it's just, you know, it gave you a little bit of pullback, came back up, and then you know, you can expect something. It's just not, I would not recommend doing it, as it's just super risky and it will not work out every single time or something like that of the nature. Okay, cool. We want to see the BOS break. We wait. And what it gave is, yes, here you got it. Now, you know that from this bullish swing structure, it turned into a bearish swing structure here. So you want to go short now, right? Where do you look on these crazy things here for a short? I will give you a quick tip what I use. That's a time when I come to the M5 to understand where my supply zones are. I understand here a nice wick, which has here liquidity, and that's on the 5M, the only relevant supply zone. Then I come to the M1 to check if it makes sense. And on the M1, it makes totally much sense, because if I'm following here everything and understands mitigated, then this is like this whole thing, mitigated, everything liquidity. It's just here between these two, you can see that there is like a gap. Okay, there is this gap between these two, leaves you with liquidity, so that could be exactly the point for it. So same kind of thing, you look there, wait for price to come to give you some confirmation, then you go short. In this case, unfortunately, I think the price didn't give you proper confirmation. You can just see in the 5 second, 1 minute looks like Wyckoff. You come to the 5 second, yeah, also looks kind of Wyckoff, but hard to get here involved on something because price broke here structure, leaves you here with this kind of gap. That would have been your entry, but to be honest, I would not take that, as it's I don't know, you know, it's V-shape, yes, right, yeah, it's just, you know, probably not that easy to identify this very quick in a situation like this. Also here, don't have too much time and you needed to execute it with market execution directly immediately. Yeah, then it went down. At that point, I guess M15, no, it was not bearish yet. Now M15 got bearish and left us with the supply zone, which could be still a future target. So we understand at this point the New York Open, and this was a cool thing because New York Open leaded for BOS. Everything was bearish. M15 was bearish. This is the supply zone with nice wick and nice liquidity here. So I just decided, of course, to go short here. And this is what price did. It just took a long time. And like I explained earlier on the M15, you had here the demand zone. And potentially this could have been the end for everything. So you come to the M1. You understand you have here two POIs. Probably the lower one here, the wick, could be the real demand zone, and this one here we just used as liquidity as many times. This is how price is doing. Price continue here to go lower and lower with BOS after BOS, and yeah, it even offered you here many times the opportunity to get involved into the trades. You just need to understand at this time, because of you understand M15 and you understand that M15 here give you the boss, right? Here you got the boss. Then you need to understand that this here is like protected. So this is your leg. So you expect price from there at least to come down into this, or potentially even lower. Boom. And that's what price did in reality. And then it started to shift. It started to give you BOS to the upside. Started to react here for from something here. Moving up higher and higher. New demand zone here. This is where also here I took a small trade about with very low risk. Closed it very early. Just didn't feel too comfortable with this trade, as I didn't know if it would go up higher and higher, or if it just will completely reverse, Yeah, that's basically it for today's price action. Nothing more right now, more relevant right now. Yeah, just continue to go more to the upside now. Didn't broke something, so it's still just grabbing the liquidity of the liquidity. But yeah, as you can see, many options for today's price action was definitely cool. As I said, sometimes probably a little bit difficult to interpret it the right way. This is where also me, I failed today, to be honest. But for me, it was not a good day because I just understood so many things from today's price action. So my forecast have been on point. So I really was expecting this kind of thing what I was trading, and it just took me out. That was my problem. At break even, which was good, but yeah, I wanted to go all the way back up with this strong move, but yeah, missed it because I didn't understood in the right time. A price will go from here to the upside, or at least here from the low, somewhere one of these 2 points should have been for me clean, or even here, Yeah, it's okay. We'll crash it tomorrow, guys. No problem. We'll give you then in the morning again a new outlook. So for me right now, I have no clue. I need to see how daily will close, how 4 hours will form, how the Asia liquidity will look like, as always. Okay, so I wish you a lot of fun with this video because it was super educational. And hopefully you can implement some stuff from here for your next trading day. And yeah, have a nice day, guys. Bye bye.